I had this idea for something I wanted to do on my YouTube channel this year. It took a few months, but I finally got the pieces together, and it starts here. I bought a truck. Yeah, the big one. I already owned the little one. Come on in. I love my workshop. I rent an old barn on a dead-end street behind a residential house. It's peaceful and quiet. It's perfect for everything about what I'm doing with my business, except for one thing. It's not customer friendly. So I started looking into renting some retail space in town and potentially moving my whole shop into an abandoned warehouse. And it was just incredibly expensive and complicated and more than I wanted to deal with. I could potentially do it. There were some buildings I was looking at where I could become a landlord and give other artists and entrepreneurs an opportunity to start their businesses, and I love that idea, but at the end of the day, I'm not a businessman, I'm an artist. Now, the other part of my business is I drive to trade shows, and I go and I set up my booth with all my guitars, with all the other guitar makers and stuff, and it's a huge hassle. So I got this idea. I said, what if I have a vehicle that will work as my trade show booth as well as a mobile retail space? So in theory, if a customer says, hey, I really like your guitars, I'd like to check them out, instead of giving them directions to my dirty old chicken barn down behind someone's house, I can be like, where do you live? I'll be there in an hour. Some of you may be thinking, well, this doesn't sound very practical. You must be new here. Practical isn't really my thing. But I do think it does have some practicality. Well, of course, I can't go driving to everyone's house that may be interested in looking at some of my guitars. I can take it to these shows where if you go to one of these guitar shows, I'll be the first brand you see walking in the door and the last one you see walking out in a very memorable retail space. And I can set up pop shops and drive to locations. I can go, okay, I'm going to be in Center City, Kansas next week for, in this parking lot. There's a lot that I can do with it that will make it a fun sort of like event. The other plan for this truck is to turn this tailgate, which is obviously busted, into a stage that folds out. So if I'm not using the truck, other people can use it as a stage in county fairs and farmers markets and whatnot, and we can have performances and musical acts right on my truck. While you're listening to the music, you're seeing my logo everywhere you go. The interior space of this truck is about 7 feet wide by about 7 feet tall by about 13 feet. That is much larger than the booth space I would rent at a regular guitar show. And in this space, besides having really cool and unique looking displays and having my guitars displayed, I can have storage of additional guitars, I can have other parts and accessories for sale, I can have areas for people to sit down and play the guitars with off-grid electronic amplifiers, as well as the potential to plug into the grid for larger, more power-consuming events. I hope you can put solar panels on the roof someday. So this could be a really unique and interesting space to come in, hang out, play, possibly record music in a way that hasn't been done before. Past couple months I've been planning this all out and keeping my eye open for the right truck to turn up, and this one turned up about a half hour away and it looked perfect, and my friend Eric, who's a mechanic, was available that day to come check it out with me.
What I'd like to do, can we shove this board down at all, do you think?
Does it rattle around? The springs are off it, so it's like stuck where it is. So I just bought this truck. I'm gonna make Eric drive it home. It's a 1995 Grumman Olson on a Chevy 350 motor, so it's basically just an overgrown Chevy pickup truck, which makes it easier for us to get parts and work on it. It's only got 82,000 miles on it and runs like a champ, but I will have my friend Eric comb through the entire truck for safety reasons. This is Ed. He just sold me this truck.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Nice deal.
All right, we'll get it out of your yard.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks. Eric tossed his dealer plate on it, and he followed me home. I do plan on introducing Eric to you later in this series, where he's going to explain what he went through on the truck and why. We've been doing 65, 70 miles an hour the whole time. He gave me the thumbs up, and everything seems to be running great, which is why I brought him along. He has the confidence to to give me the peace of mind when doing things like this. I'm slightly mechanical, but he's really got the ear and the eye for it.
Brakes are good. The blinkers work in the back?
Yeah, everything.
Oh, good.
Everything seemed to work fine. I know what you're thinking. Chevy 350 with a dually frame. That's not very eco-friendly, right? As far as cars go, but don't forget, this isn't a car. This is replacing a building. I think the footprint on this is probably a little bit smaller than that. Vance could not wait to see the truck, so basically as soon as I got home I had to turn around and bring him back to the shop to check it out, and he of course wanted to ride in the mini truck, so we did.
Ready for it?
Nah, let's just go home.
Why not? Oh, nice.
Yes, of course, putting my mini truck in the back of this truck is one of the first things we thought of.
What if you put something on top of this wheel well and made it a bench? Like, so it's like, you know?
The only reason I'd have trouble getting my little truck in here is because of those wheel wells. We'd have to get it up over it. So
Maybe 2 ramps.
Yeah, we'd have to make little ramps to get up over it, and then
What
have
the
to get
heck
them
are
down.
all these staples?
They're just junk. I love talking to kids, especially my son Vance, and brainstorming ideas like this. When we talk to adults, we tend to have all this life experience. We think about all the things we can't do or all the reasons things are hard. And kids don't do that. They just look at the potential, and they can really inspire you and sometimes come up with really creative ideas that we might have talked ourselves out of before we even thought our way into them.
For that.
When I put a floor in,
You would rip this up?
no, this would stay because it's only a thin piece of metal. I would just go right over this with just a thin layer so it would only raise it up like a ½ inch. I would put the thinnest floor possible. I might carpet it even, and the reason I would use carpet is because it would help with echo, because it's going to be a sound room. People are going to play guitars, and if it's all wood,
It'll absorb it.
It gets echoey. Hear how the echo comes off the wood? But then carpet will kill some of that echo.
Just for like the video, take this off with like a crowbar, like really aggressively. Yeah. Like really aggressive, like rip the bottom down.
Yep.
And like poke a hole in there. Because there's no use in it, it's broken.
Well, I don't want to, these are solid, this is solid wood. So, I mean, I'll probably save it for something. But yeah, you can help me tear it all apart. So, we're going to take all this out, all this wood.
The plywood.
Kids also make good sounding boards for working out your own ideas. If I can explain it to him, that means I truly understand it myself, to misquote Einstein. Yeah, so the idea will be, this will be the entrance. You'll enter through here.
And you'll be like, and then you step up there and walk into the store.
And you exit out the back. Yeah, so it'll be like a one-way, it'll be enter here.
Faded? But it's like shiny even. It's like you can still see lettering here, but it's like shiny. It's like not that bad.
Yeah, most trucks this age that I could afford were in much worse condition, and this one has very little to do. It's like a blank canvas.
Tear down the door anyway.
Yeah, the door's coming out. Yeah, the door doesn't matter because that's coming out. Building the tailgate is probably going to be one of the biggest and trickiest jobs, and Vance had some really interesting ideas. We were brainstorming for a while. Of course, we both also wanted to go for a ride in it, but we can't because it's not registered, so I took Vance for a little turnaround in the yard here just so we could tuck the truck in nicer, and we could be like the UPS drivers that drive with their doors open in the summer, which was exciting and a little scarier than I expected it to be. Is it funny looking? Yeah.
Just don't turn around until you're out where I'm standing.
I'm waiting until I get here so I can turn around with the camera. Ready?
Yeah.
Let me explain my vision for the year on this channel. I love what I've been doing for the past 7 years of making unique and interesting things and then sharing them. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to see if I could make something that had a little more continuity to it, like a story arc that would grow throughout the course of a season on my channel. So that's where this truck comes in. Now don't worry, I do still have guitar and other instrument build videos going on. I have projects on my bench as we speak, and there will be videos coming out for them. So you will still get that content of these unique and interesting reclaimed instruments. But in addition to that, I'm going to be working on this story. And this story is going to break out into 2 parts. One is this vlog type thing where I take you along on the journey and I explain what's going on, I share my thoughts, I ask you for your thoughts, and just sort of give you the story of this build. And then the other part of the truck build will be actual breakout videos that are more like traditional woodworking or maker videos, like the stuff you've seen on my channel and elsewhere. You know, for instance, building a table for inside here, or building the tailgate, or creating signage for the side. All of those will be busted out into individual projects that will accompany this vlog. Now, I know a lot of people don't like vlogs. If you don't want to watch those videos, that is totally fine. You don't have to. I'm going to make it easy for you. If the video in this series is a vlog-like video, it will have a cover slide that looks like this. But if you're interested in watching the more traditional build videos and make videos, that will have this cover slide. So watch the ones you like, don't watch the ones you don't like. It's that easy. The last thing I want to do is turn into a vlogger. Ugh. And I do have a soft deadline for this truck. While I have a feeling it will never be done and I will always be changing and modifying it, I plan on bringing it to the 2nd annual Maker Camp in East Durham, New York this October. That's the event that happens up at Jimmy DeResta's farm. I went there last year with MakerMade CNC and it was an awesome time. And this year I plan on having that truck parked out there with potentially musicians playing off the back of it. I have so many ideas for how to trick this thing out. I don't even know where to begin or which one to pick. But I'm still curious of what you would do if this were your truck, because I love just getting the hive mind going and seeing what kind of ideas are out there. So please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear it. And that's about it for now. Please stay tuned. I'm going to have a lot more to show you and a lot more to involve you with as well as this project continues. I'm super excited about it. I hope you are too. And maybe next time I see you, it'll be in the back of my van. That didn't sound right.